The 3-0 pitch to Lindor is a strike from Pallante. Cardinals did have a walk in the first by Contreras. Donovan hit a hard grounder. They tried to turn two, just missed out. Burleson also walked. Arenado also walked, and then Burleson popped out. And that's how the Cardinals' first inning went, as Pallante gives up a single to Francisco Lindor to start off the bottom half of the first. The Mets lineup is Lindor at short, Soto in right, Alonso at first, Vientos at third, Nimmo in left, Marte at DH, Luis Torrens as the catcher, Brett Beatty at second, and Tyrone Taylor in center. And the starting pitcher today is Griffin Canning for the Mets. So there's one on with nobody out for Juan Soto. First pitch from Pallante, fouled back, 0-1. It'll be Soto and then Alonso here in the first. Pallante's been a good starter this season. Here's the 0-1 to Soto. Ground ball up the middle. Donovan had him played perfectly, and that'll be a double play. Just fielded that one right off the ground, stepped on second, and threw it to first. That's the danger of hitting the ball up the middle against a shift, especially with a runner on first. Could easily become a double play. And it did there. So there's two away now, and it'll be Pete Alonso. First pitch from Pallante. Outside with the slider, 1-0. Alonso's played in 18 games. He's had a 1.205 OPS with a 365 average. The 1-0 in there with the four seam, 1-1. That one was on the outside corner. Alonso already has 5 home runs, which puts him near the top of the baseball. I know a couple guys have 6. Sinker missed inside, 2-1. The 2-1 from Andre Pallante. Slider top of the zone, swung right under it, 2-2. Cardinals defense today has Pajes behind the plate, Contreras at first, Gorman at second, Donovan at short, and Arenado at third. Here's the 2-2 to Alonso. Outside with the slider, the count runs full. The outfield is as usual, Nootbaar in left, Scott in center, and Walker in right. The 3-2 pitch to Alonso. Ground ball, left-hand side, and Donovan will get all 3 outs himself this inning by making the play on Alonso. Pallante's faced the minimum after 1. It's 0-0 in New York. Next inning, it'll be Walker, Gorman, and Pajes for the Cardinals facing Griffin Canning. So let's take a look at what Canning has done this season. Let me first get ready for that. As I probably still have all the Astros pulled up from last series. All right. Let's check it out. So Griffin Canning this season is 1-1 with a 4.2 ERA, 15 innings, 13 strikeouts with a 1.533 whip. So I would say a little bit below average, but nothing crazy. He's 28 in his prime. He was on the Angels for a long time. I do remember that. Couple good seasons. 2023, very good. But that last season with the Angels had a 5.19, and it was a 4.20 so far this year. So let's see. He led the AL in earned runs last year. And that's why his WAR was positive, is he had a lot of innings pitched, 171, but not super effective. So hopefully, for the Mets' sake, he can put it together here. But the Cardinals looking to add to that total. Let's see what they do in the top of the second. All right, it'll be Jordan Walker. Cardinals did bring 5 to the plate in the first, but stranded those base runners. The pitch to Walker is 4-seam at the top of the zone. They call it high, 1-0. That was definitely a strike, but the ump didn't see it that way. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Canning to Walker. Fastball in the exact same spot, swung on and missed from Walker. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Canning. Slider popped the other way. Alonso drifts out and makes a basket catch by the wall. Very good play from Alonso, and there's 1 out in the second. So that'll bring up Nolan Gorman. Great concentration from Alonso there. Kept peeking. He knew he had to keep running, so kept his eye on the ball at the end and just slid and made the nice catch. Here is Gorman. He's hitting .313 with a 1.025 in 6 games this season. First pitch is way up and away, 1-0. Cardinals did draw 2 walks in the first, so if you can wait out Canning until he finds his command, that might be a good idea. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Up and away for a ball. Ball 2, 2-0. That looked like it was in the zone. But this umpire seems to have a little bit of a lower zone, or at least not a high zone in this one. The 2-0 pitch from Canning to Gorman. Swing and a miss. Fastball outside. 2-1. Few well-placed fastballs so far. The 2-1 to Gorman. Inside 4-seam, popped up. Lindor drifts out and makes the catch. Looks like that was Vientos instead. Either way, 2 outs now for Pedro Pajes. Pitch 31 of the game from Canning. He is in there on the outside corner, 0-1. So it was a perfectly placed outside fastball, especially by this umpire's standards. Didn't put it too high. Here's the 0-1 to Pedro Pajes. Way outside with the changeup, 1-1. Pajes hitting .268 this season with a .725 OPS. As Canning delivers the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss right over the top of a slider at the bottom of the zone. 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Canning. Swing and a miss, so the slider again. So Pajes chases, and the Mets are through 2. It'll be the Mets in the bottom half of the second, in a game tied at 0. It'll be Mark Vientos, Brandon Nimmo, and Starling Marte. 4-5-6 for the Mets in the second. So now let's see what's up with Vientos. How did he earn the 4 spot? He has a negative 0.4 WAR this season, 37 OPS plus. Last year, though, he had 3.1 WAR. It's his only positive WAR season, 111 games, 27 home runs, 135 OPS plus. I was unaware that he had that good of a season last year. So that's news to me. I'm glad that I checked on that. Maybe we could figure some stuff out using some baseball savant. First, let's take a look at Canning. Nothing great going on for him so far this year. And nothing elite throughout his whole career. So we'll move to Vientos. Vientos does walk a lot this year. Still scores up some stuff and good sweet spot percentage. So that's a good sign for him. Let's see what he did last year. This will probably have a lot of red. Let's see. There it is. So a lot of good hitting. Nothing great otherwise. Good expected WOBA, expected slug, exit velo, barrel percentage, and hard hit percentage. So that's what he does. He hits the ball hard, squares it up, sweet spot. Good to know. So let's see if he can do that here. Against Andre Pallante. First pitch is low with the 4-seam, 1-0. Pallante has been one of the best pitchers for the Cardinals this season. Here's pitch 15 of the game. Fly ball to right field, way back, and gone. Just over the right field wall, as deep as you can get into Citi Field. And it is 1-0 Mets. First home run of the season for Vientos, who was 100 miles an hour off the bat. Didn't look like a home run to me, but in Citi Field, right in right field, he found the spot where it was. Right off the foul pole, right at the base of it. That'll first pitch now from Pallante to Nimmo, and it's 0-1. So yeah, it truly did just hit the base of the foul pole. Walker could have probably jumped up and caught the ball if he timed it perfectly. But he probably didn't know where it was. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball at the bottom of the zone, 0-2. The 0-2 from Pallante. Bounce the knuckle curve in the dirt, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch from Pallante. Ground ball. Brendan Donovan makes the play. And there's 2 outs now. Sorry, 1 out. And that'll bring up Starling Marte. If we look around the league, the games that have already concluded today, Pittsburgh beat Washington 1-0. Seattle beat Cincinnati in 10 innings, 11-7. The A's beat the White Sox 8-0. And Philadelphia beat San Francisco 6-4. First pitch to Marte is outside, 1-0. Second pitch, Fouled away, 1-1. Pallante's kept his ERA low. Even after that home run, it's only a 2.55 on the year. Plenty good enough to be a third starter. And he had an excellent start last time out. The 1-1 is low, 2-1. Pallante shut down the Phillies his last time out, I believe. And now he's got the Mets. The 2-1 pitch, hard hit ball into the left field corner. That'll be an extra base hit for Starling Marte as he hustles for a stand-up double. So the Mets really taking advantage of Citi Field. They know where they can go with the ball. Great job by Marte there, getting inside that pitch. He was a low and inside fastball, and he was able to pull it right into the corner. So there's one out with a runner on second, and that'll bring up Luis Torrens. He's hitting .275 with a .785 OPS. First pitch is just outside, 1-0. That one was a strike, but this ump just has a little bit of a constricted zone, and it's gone both ways. The 1-0. Just low with the slider, 2-0 now. The pitch, in there for a strike, 2-1. Luis Torrens hitting .275 this season with a .785 OPS. Does have one home run in 14 games played. The 2-1 pitch. Strike on the inside corner. That was a close one. 2-2. Great job by Pajes framing that up. The 2-2. Fouled the other way. It'll still be 2-2. Pallante is set with Marte on second and one out. The 2-2 pitch to Torrens. Chopped foul, and we'll do it again. The 2-2, nope. Pallante checks on Marte, and that's a disengagement. And the 2-2. Ground ball. Donovan makes the play. And there's two outs now. Mets lead this one 1-0 here in the bottom of the second. And that will bring up Brett Beatty, second baseman. He's hitting just .175 on the year. Chance to drive in Marte. The first pitch. Up and in with the four seam, 1-0. The pitch hit the other way, And it'll drop in fair territory in front of Nootbaar and drive in Marte. Beatty will stop at first with an RBI single. And it's 2-0 Mets in the second. So Beatty with just a jam shot the other way. Did a good job of staying on the pitch. And Nootbaar was just too far away to get over to that one. Chopped it right down the line in a way that is somewhat similar to what John Jay would do for a lot of his career. Cardinals' current bench coach, former center fielder. First pitch to Taylor. Hard hit up the middle for a base hit. So Tyrone Taylor, former Brewer, picks up a single, and there's 2 on and 2 outs in the second. And that'll bring up Lindor. So Pallante having a little bit of a tough time in this one so far. As Dusty Blake will go out and have a discussion with him on the mound. A couple of these hits were just very well placed. A couple of them are hit very hard, though. So I'm sure Blake is just reminding Pallante to make sure you just throw your best pitch. You can't control where it goes. Sometimes other teams will just pop it into the right spot. Can't let that affect your mental. Pallante settles back onto the mound. Lindor steps up to the plate. First pitch from Pallante. Strike on the upper inside corner, 0-1. So 2 on, 2 outs for Francisco Lindor. The 0-1 pitch. Missed upstairs, 1-1. That was just a fastball. Lindor's already 1 for 1 with a single. And is looking to extend the Mets' lead here in the second. Up and in with the fastball, 2-1. Lindor does have 1 home run this season, but just a .669 OPS. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball, foul. 2-2. Juan Soto waits on deck. The Cardinals have somewhat of a shift on here. Third baseman staying near third base to prevent a steal. The 2-2. In the dirt, and the count is full, so the runners will be in motion. 2 outs with a full count, runners on first and second. Playing Lindor to pull. Here's the 3-2. Hard hit ball to the right field side. Base hit. Jordan Walker misplays it. And 1 run will come around to score, but they do have Lindor caught between first and second. Lindor draws the fielders, tries to extend the play as long as he can, and is tagged out. But 2 runs do score, and it's 4-0 Mets in the second. So somehow Lindor was able to get caught in a rundown and drive in both runs on that play. And the Cardinals now have a monumental hill to climb over the rest of the game. I'll be back in about a minute. All right. So Vientos did homer. Let's see what Victor Scott has been up to so far this season on the Savant. So great fielding and great base running and a little bit below average at the plate. 96th percentile and outs above average. The fastest sprint speed according to Savant. That's pretty cool. And here's the first pitch to Scott. He takes it for ball one above the zone. Scott squared around there to potentially bunt and pulled it back. The 1-0. In there for a strike. Fastball right at the bottom of the zone. 1-1. Scott hitting .263 with a .724 OPS this season. The 1-1 pitch from Canning. Ground ball to the right-hand side. Through for a base hit. So the second baseman was shifted over, and so a ground ball that could have been played by a normal second baseman was nowhere to be found. And Victor Scott has a single. So 1 on with nobody out for Lars Nootbaar. Nootbaar's been very good this season. 3 home runs, an .873 OPS, .279 batting average. Canning checks on Scott, who's not going anywhere. Scott this season has 6 stolen bases on 6 attempts. The first pitch to Nootbaar. Up and away for ball 1. 1-0. A lot of up and away pitches not being called that are technically in the zone. So you just got to adjust to this umpire's zone in this one. The 1-0 pitch from Canning. Right down the middle for a strike, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Nootbaar. Victor Scott is out at second base. He tried to run on that pitch. It was also called a strike. We will have to take a look at this. Let's see. Cardinals have not challenged. He probably was safe, though, so I would take another look. He is safe. So the Cardinals hopefully will challenge this. So Victor Scott, assuming the Cardinals challenge, they do. Victor Scott will get a stolen base here. And the count does say 2-1 on Nootbaar, so maybe it wasn't a strike. Let's take another look. Yeah, there's no doubt he's safe. Absolutely no doubt. Lindor had a slow tag. All right, Victor Scott moves to 7 for 7 on stolen base attempts with nobody out and a runner on second for Nootbaar. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Canning. Bounced in the dirt, 3-1. Nootbaar is 0 for 1 so far today. And it'll be Contreras and Donovan next up in the order. The 3-1 pitch from Canning to Nootbaar. Check swing for a strike, 3-2. That was a slider in the dirt. Nootbaar chased. So let's see what Canning has for Nootbaar here. The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss with a fastball on the outside corner. 93, blew it right by him. And there's one out with a runner in scoring position for Wilson Contreras in the third. Nootbaar simply swung right under that one. Spin rate right above the bat on that pitch. Here's Griffin Canning as he disengages and checks on Scott. So that's the first disengagement with Scott on second. The first pitch to Contreras. Fastball right down the middle, popped up out of play, 0-1. Contreras is 4 for 23 this season with runners in scoring position. That is a 174 average. The 0-1. Way outside with the knuckle curve, 1-1. Contreras has already walked in this game. And now the count is 1-1. The pitch from Griffin Canning to Wilson Contreras. Chopped foul, 1-2. That one was a slider at the bottom of the zone. Brendan Donovan waits on deck. Donovan is 0 for 1 today. But he's been the Cardinals' best hitter all season. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Canning. Upstairs with the fastball, swing and a miss, and now there's 2 down in the third. So the Cardinals start this inning off with Victor Scott on first. He was able to steal second, but since then, they've had 2 strikeouts. So Scott still stands on second, and now it'll be Brendan Donovan. Donovan did have a stolen base earlier in this one. First pitch is in the dirt, gets away from the catcher, and Scott's able to take third. So now any hit will score Victor Scott. And any ball that gets away from the catcher now will be worth 1 run for the Cardinals. The 1-0 pitch from Canning to Donovan with Scott on third. Ground ball up the middle. Diving play by Lindor. He's unable to get up. And Brendan Donovan has a 2-out single on the infield, and it scores the run. So it's 4-1 Mets now in the third. You wonder if Lindor actually got hurt on that play. No, he just lost the ball. Looks like he's okay. So Donovan on first, now 1 for 2 on the day. And Nolan Arenado, after a walk in the first, comes up for his first at-bat of the game. Here's the first pitch from Canning to Arenado. Pitch 50 for Canning in the game. He delivers, and it's a strike, a slider on the inside corner. Here's the 0-1 from Canning to Arenado. Another slider, that one low and away. Nolan swung right over it, and it's 0-2. Here's the 0-2 to Nolan Arenado with 2 outs. Bounced it in the dirt. Donovan stays on first. 1-2 now. So still a runner on base. Decent chance for Arenado here to try to get the Cardinals back in this one. The 1-2 pitch from Canning. Fastball upstairs, chopped to second, and the play is made. So the Cardinals do get 1 run back on an infield single from Donovan after a stolen base by Scott. And it's 4-1 Mets as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. It'll be Soto, Alonso, and Vientos against Pallante. So let's see what Pete Alonso has been up to. The best hitter in the league, apparently. A 1.204 OPS with the league-leading xWOBA and amongst the top 3 in expected batting average, expected slug, average exit velo, barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, and bat speed. So crushing the ball this year, and he has 1 out above average on defense. So Pete Alonso's been fantastic. What about Juan Soto? Soto's been great at walking and squaring up the ball. Good average exit velo and solid batting and base running value. Doesn't quite have the same exit velo stats as last year at this point, but I'm sure he'll get there. He's only 26. First pitch to Soto is upstairs for ball 1 in the bottom of the 3rd. The 1-0 is a fastball right down the middle for strike 1. So it's 1-1 on Juan Soto. Here's the pitch from Pallante. Swing and a miss on a slider above the zone. 1-2. Soto digs back in. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Andre. Slider in the dirt. 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Fouled off his leg. 2-2 once again. The 2-2 pitch once again. Fouled off again. And we'll have to do it again. So Soto having a good at-bat, as he usually does. Making sure Pallante has to throw a lot of pitches. And here's the 2-2 pitch to Soto. Slider in the dirt. He did go around, and down goes Soto. So 1 out now in the 3rd. And here comes Pete Alonso. with a 1.187 OPS on the year. Alonso does lead the league in home runs since 2019, ahead of Matt Olson and Kyle Schwarber. Here's the first pitch from Pallante. Swing and a miss, sinker right down the middle. Alonso way behind it. The 1-0 was a slider. In the dirt away. 1-1. The pitch from Pallante to Alonso. Ground ball, chopped to shortstop. Donovan makes the play, and there's 2 outs in the third. So that was an easy play for Donovan. Alonso kind of reached out of the zone to go get that one. And it showed by the soft exit velocity. That'll bring up Mark Vientos, who did homer back in that second inning, where the Mets scored all 4 of their runs. Pallante missed outside with a slider, 1-0. Second pitch to Vientos. Slider below the zone, 2-0 now. The 2-0 pitch is fouled off by Vientos. 2-1. Vientos hit his only home run of the season just last inning. Now he's up to the plate again. The 1-1. Ground ball foul. Pull side. 1-2. His average sits at just 159 on the season with a 534 OPS. The 1-2 from Andre Pallante. Ground ball. Charging Arenado bare hand. Got him at first. A great defensive play by Arenado. And the Cardinals get through the third, 1-2-3, and head to bat again in the fourth. So a great charging play by Arenado. And now the Cardinals get to hit. Plays like that where he charges with the bare hand are what we've grown accustomed to as Cardinals fans from Nolan Arenado. But that doesn't make it any less impressive. It'll be Burleson, Walker, and Gorman in the fourth. So Burleson not having a great season so far, but he hasn't struck out a lot. Has squared up the ball. Walker does have some of the best bat speed in the league, but it hasn't produced too much for him. Also some of the best arm strength. I do want to see Burleson from last season. So once again, just didn't strike out a lot, squared the ball up, had a high expected batting average, and produced about average value. So I guess that's what Burleson's been so far. And Gorman. Obviously, Gorman struck out amongst the most in the league. Let's see, is he qualified last season? Yep. He did barrel the ball and hit it in the sweet spot a lot. But he struck out and whiffed and squared up the ball as little as anybody. So that's interesting. His expected WOBA in 2023 and 2024 were elite, but his expected batting average and strikeout percentage were so high that he canceled it out. See what he does here. Burleson at the plate. The 1-0. Canning missed low, 2-0 now on Burleson. If Burleson's able to reach, the Cardinals could get something going here in the fourth. The 2-0 pitch. Inside, pulled foul. 2-1. Could have been 3-0 potentially if he took that. Maybe the ump calls that a strike, which would be correct, but this ump's been a little bit of a constricted zone. We'll have to see. The 2-1 pitch to Burleson. He squares around and bunts it the other way. They did have a shift on, and that'll be an infield hit for Burleson. So if they shift you, you can bunt. That's still the rule. And if you can bunt, you can get that hit. So Burleson takes advantage of the shift with a very impressive bunt right down the third base line where nobody was playing. And there's one on now with nobody out in the fourth. Here comes Jordan Walker. The first pitch, nope. A check on Burleson. So that's the first disengagement of the at-bat. As Jordan Walker does have a .250 average on the year with a .674 OPS. The pitch from Canning. Pulled foul, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch from Canning to Walker is a strike right down the middle. Just a 94-mile-an-hour four-seam. And it's 0-2. It is Walker, Gorman, and Pajes. As Walker calls timeout. Steps back in. And faces Canning for the 0-2. Canning delivers. Swing and a miss. Fastball on the outside corner. Walker unable to get up to that one. And there's one on and one out for Gorman. This is just Gorman's 7th game of the year, but he has a .969 OPS and a .294 average. The first pitch is a fastball right down the middle for strike one. We already saw the dimensions of Citi Field in play earlier. Let's see if Gorman can take advantage. The 0-1. Up and away, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch in there for a strike with a slider on the outside corner, and it's 1-2. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Fastball at the top of the zone, and Canning does it again. Strikes out 2 after allowing a base runner. And now there's 2 out with just 1 on for Pedro Pajes. Canning up at 64 pitches on the day. His first pitch to Pages will be pitch 65 here in the top of the fourth. Canning delivers. And Pages pops it up, out of play, 0-1. Pages hitting .262 on the season with a .708 OPS and 1 home run. The 0-1 pitch from Canning to Pages. Low and away with a changeup for strike 2. Pages swung right over that one. The 0-2 pitch now from Canning to Pages. Popped foul, out of play, and we'll do it again. Pages, the Cardinals catcher. I'm not sure, but earlier this season, the Cardinals catchers had the best OPS in the league at the position. It may or may not still be the case, as Pages has been about league average on the season, but Herrera and Pozo have been great. Here's the 0-2 to Pages. Popped up. And out of play. So still 0-2. Obviously, Pages has a lot of value as a defensive catcher. Very good at throwing runners out when they try to steal bases. And he's been at a league average hitter, so that is very valuable at the catcher position. But it's 0-2 on him now. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Canning. Dropped a changeup outside, 1-2. Timeout. And Pages steps back in. Pitch 70 of the day from Griffin Canning is the 1-2 pitch to Pedro Pages. Canning delivers. And it's chopped foul once again. So still 1-2. Pages making Canning work. Trying to get to that bullpen early in the series. This game is just a 3-run deficit for the Cardinals. Here's the 1-2 from Canning to Pages. Fastball in there for a ball. And it's 2-2 now in the fourth. That looked like strike 3 to me. Very surprising there that he doesn't get that call. And now we'll do it again. The 2-2 pitch to Pedro Pages. Slider in the dirt, and now the count is full. So on first base, Alec Burleson will get a head start. And Canning has to deliver yet another pitch to Pedro Pages. We'll see what Pages is looking for here. The 3-2 pitch from Canning. Instead, a check on Burleson. So there's another disengagement. Burleson gets moving. And the pitch. Swing and a miss on a slider low and away. Pages chased ball 4. And midway through the fourth, it's 4-1 Mets. So it'll be Nimmo, Marte, and Torrens for the Mets in the fourth. That is 5, 6, 7 in the lineup. Let's see what Nimmo is up to so far. Pretty good on all fronts, like about 70th percentile across the board in hitting stats, so looks like he's providing value, and yet his batting run value is 26th percentile. So all this expected batting average, expected WOBA, average exit velo, it's not working out for him so far this year. So that's strange. And his arm value's been bad. Sprint speed's average. So we'll see if maybe these hard hit balls will turn it around for Nimmo or not. Wonder if Marte is still stealing bases. Marte is not qualified this season, but he does have a 652 OPS. Last season, he was still 87th percentile on base running run value, but he was below average batting and well below average fielding. Did have a high expected batting average, though. All right, we are back. Pallante back out there. An 0-1 count on Brandon Nimmo. The second pitch to Nimmo is low with the four seam, 1-1. Here's the 0-1 now to Nimmo. Fouled away. I believe it's 1-2 actually. Not 0-2. That slider in the dirt. It's 2-2 now. The graphic is incorrect. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to the right-hand side. Charging Gorman. Glove flip. And they say they got him at first. We'll have to take a look. Very close play at first, but an excellent glove flip by Gorman. And he was out. So, fantastic. They got Brandon Nimmo by half a step with a glove flip. So, a great play by Gorman. Something you work on there. For plays just like that. And here comes Starling Marte with one out and nobody on in the fourth. Foul ball, 0-1. It's 4-1 Mets. Marte is 1-for-1 on the day. With a hard hit double to left field. Here's the 0-1. Slider for a strike on the outside corner, 0-2. Jesus, no wonder. Okay. Here's the 0-2 pitch now from Pallante. Beautiful pitch, but just missed inside, 1-2. Tried to freeze him with the knuckle curve, almost got it done. Instead, he missed inside. Now here is the 1-2 pitch to Starling Marte. Check swing did not go. 2-2. That was a slider low and away. The 2-2 pitch to Marte. Fastball right down the middle, hit into the air, and Gorman makes a great leaping catch right past the second base bag. And there's 2 outs now in the 4th. So Gorman with 2 great defensive plays here in the 4th. And there's 2 outs and nobody on for Luis Torrens. Torrens is 0 for 1 today. And the first pitch is a ground ball to the right-hand side. Contreras picks it up, flips it to Pallante, and that's the 3rd out of the 4th. So a 1-2-3 4th inning for Pallante, who is settled in after a 4-run second, but it's still 4-1 Mets as we head to the 5th. Griffin Canning has thrown 73 pitches in this one, 45 in the zone for strikes. And it'll be Victor Scott, Lars Nootbaar, and Wilson Contreras for the Cardinals. Nootbaar in the 96th percentile of batting run value. 96th percentile, in walks as well. Wow. I guess that's something I need to learn. Is how to mute my mic on the fly, Especially when I'm not controlling what I'm eating every once in a while. By living in a house with others. All right. So Canning will come back out. He has 73 pitches in the game. As a result, this could be his final inning here in the 5th. Facing Victor Scott and then the top of the order. Scott is 1 for 1 in this one with a bunt single. Burleson had the bunt. I don't think Scott bunted. I think Scott hit that one up the middle. Yep. So he's 1 for 1 with a single up the middle. And then it'll be the top of the order. Here's the first pitch. Check swing, foul, 0-1. The 0-1. Swing and a miss right over the slider. 0-2. So that was a slider low and in. Almost to the feet of Scott. But he chased it, and it's 0-2 now. Interesting shift by the Mets defense. They have the third baseman up close for a bunt, and then they play him to pull. Here's the 0-2. Chopped foul. Still 0-2. So if he could hit a hard hit ball the other way, that would definitely grant him a hit in this situation. The 0-2 pitch from Canning. Slider away, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Victor Scott. Swing and a miss. Fastball up and away. And there's now 1 out in the 5th. That'll bring up Lars Nootbaar. Nobody on, a 3-run deficit for the Cardinals. And the first pitch to Nootbaar. Popped up and out of play, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch from Canning. In there for a strike, 0-2. So it was a curveball on the outside corner. Canning trying to have a quick 5th so that he can pitch the 6th. Here's pitch 81 from Canning. Inside, 1-2. The 1-2. Popped up, out of play on the left-hand side, and we'll do it again. So working with a 3-run deficit here in the 5th, the leadoff hitter Lars Nootbaar is faced with a 1-2 count with 1 out now in the 5th. It'll be Contreras and Donovan on deck. The 1-2. Check swing. He did not go. 2-2. It looked like Nootbaar was thinking about already walking back, so could be a little bit controversial. We'll see. I'm not sure he went, though. I think that might be the right call. The 2-2 from Canning to Nootbaar. Hard hit ball, center field, but easy play there. And it is made by Tyrone Taylor. And there's 2 outs now in the 5th for Wilson Contreras. Contreras is 0 for 1. Did have a walk back in the 1st. The first pitch from Canning. Hard hit ball to shortstop. Lindor makes the play, and Canning has a 1-2-3 5th, so he'll likely be able to come back out for the 6th. 4-1 Mets midway through the 5th. Pallante will face Beatty, Taylor, and Lindor in the Mets 5th. If you look at what these guys have been able to do, 195 and 182 batting averages from Beatty and Taylor, and then a 261 from Lindor. So the goal for Pallante here should be to attack these first 2 hitters, try to get both of them out. And then you'll get 2 outs at the top of the order, so ideally you can get 1 of Lindor or Soto and move on from there. The Tigers are leading 4-0 against Kansas City. They're on a little bit of a roll for the AL Central. Baltimore leads Cleveland 6-2, and Tampa Bay leads New York Yankees 3-2. The Rangers lead the Angels. Sorry, nope, that game's 1-1, so it's tied. First pitch to Beatty is upstairs 1-0. So 1-0 on Brett Beatty. He has a 195 average this season. The 1-0 is in there for a strike at the lower inside corner. That was just a fastball. The 1-1. Driven the other way, 1-2. Pallante delivers. The 1-2. Chop to the right-hand side. A good play by Gorman. And there's one out in the fifth. So Gorman making a lot of good plays at second base today. Can't say I would have expected a Gorman to Wilson Contreras play from the start of this season, but here we are. Well, I guess not at the start of the season. We knew Contreras was first base at that point, but from the end of last season. Good play there at short to get Tyrone Taylor by Brendan Donovan, and there's 2 outs now in the fifth. So that'll bring up Lindor with nobody on and 2 outs. Lindor is 2 for 2 today. Did have an RBI single. Got himself into a rundown to drive in those extra 2 runs back in the second. Pallante may have faced the minimum since then. There's a knuckle curve there. Just outside, 1-0. Fastball right down the middle for a strike, 1-1. Third pitch to Lindor, fouled back, 1-2. So since Pallante gave up the hit to Lindor second time, he has retired every Met that has come to the plate. So this would be the 9th in a row. Here is the 1-2. Fouled away, still 1-2. Cardinals trying to hang around in this one. The 1-2 once again. Missed outside with a knuckle curve. 2-2 on Lindor. This will be pitch number 76 for Pallante. The 2-2. Hit the other way for a base hit. Victor Scott had to charge in and make the throw, and Lindor reaches for the 3rd time today, 3 for 3. He went down and chopped an inside slider right over the middle of the infield, and Victor Scott had to range over and grab it. So there's 1 on now with 2 outs for Juan Soto. Strike 1 at the bottom of the zone with the fastball, 0-1. Soto has some words for the umpire. Any other player would get thrown out. Soto has a strikeout and a grounded into double play today. So, not a great day for him. Second pitch from Pallante. Instead, he checks on Lindor at first. The 0-1 to Juan Soto. Top of the zone, swung right through it, 0-2. That one was above the zone, but Soto wanted to try to hit it, and he was unable to. Soto is good this season with 2 strikes, with a 200 average in these situations. But here's the 0-2. Inside 1-2. Soto also hit one of his 3 home runs with 2 strikes already this year. The 1-2 from Pallante. Hit the other way, a nice snag by Arenado. And that'll be the 3rd out of the 5th. So after 5, it is still 4-1 Mets. And it'll be Donovan, Arenado, and Burleson for the Cardinals in the 6th. So that sounds like runs to me. So I do want to see what Arenado looked like last season. So great fielding value. Below average batting, which is crazy. Didn't strike out though. Donovan had one of his worst seasons last season. Obviously, he's crushing it right now. Yeah, just 60th percentile hitting, 66th percentile fielding. Squares up the ball, doesn't strike out. Still improving. And then we already looked at Burleson. It's not quite time for the bullpen of the Mets, I don't think, so I'm not going to check on that. Let's just get back to whenever the game comes back. Donovan has a 13-game hit streak with 23 hits during the streak, one of them being a home run to right. And here's the first pitch to Donovan. Inside 1-0. Canning missed with the slider that time. Donovan, one of 3 Cardinals hitters to get a hit today. And we are in the 6th. Timeout by some Mets players as their pitch comm's not working. All right. It is 1-0 now on Donovan. They've fixed their problem. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Brendan Donovan. Slider in there for a strike, 1-1. Donovan, the first batter of the Cardinals, 6th. They trail by 3. Final inning of pitching for Griffin Canning. Here's the 1-1. Fouled the other way, 1-2. Donovan is 1 for 2 with an infield RBI single. And hitting .384 on the season, riding a 13-game hit streak. The 1-2. Up and away, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch to Donovan. Hit the other way, foul. Still 2-2. Games underway right now include Baltimore hosting Cleveland. They're up 6-2 in the 8th. The Tigers lead 4-0 in the 7th over Kansas City. First, let's do the 2-2 to Donovan. Fouled away. New York Yankees and the Rays are tied in the 5th. The Rays hosting that one. And the Rangers lead the Angels 3-1 in the 3rd. The 2-2 again to Donovan. He is low, 3-2 now. Donovan hitting .250 this season with 2 strikes. A lot of hitters would hope to hit .250 in any count. The 3-2 from Griffin Canning. Pulled foul. So Donovan having a great at-bat right now, staying alive, fighting in this one. Trying to draw a walk and pass the torch. This will be pitch 94 for Canning and the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Canning delivers. Swing and a miss on a changeup at the bottom of the zone, and Donovan was unable to get to that one. So there's 1 out now in the 6th for Nolan Arenado. What a great job by the catcher there. That was a foul tip. He caught it with the palm of his hand at the bottom of the glove. First pitch to Arenado. Swing and a miss on another changeup. So Canning pulls out the changeup 2 times in a row in his last inning of work. He might go 100 pitches today. Here's the 0-1 to Arenado. Slider. Way outside, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is low, 2-1 on Arenado. Arenado is 0 for 1 today with a walk back in the 1st. And Alec Burleson waits on deck. The 2-1 pitch, way low and away, 3-1. The wave came through the stadium, kind of distracted the pitcher. Canning asked for a new ball. The 3-1 to Arenado. Popped foul. 3-2. So the wave continues to make its way around Citi Field. And we'll see if Arenado can take advantage of the crowd distraction and try to reach base here in the 6th. Cardinals trail by 3, trying to get a base runner. The wave comes through and Canning delivers. The 3-2 is a ground ball to the left-hand side. Easy play for Lindor. And it's out number 2 in the 6th. So Canning has reached 100 pitches and looks to finish the inning here in the 6th. It will be Alec Burleson at the plate. They play Burleson to pull. And here's the first pitch to him. Changeup right down the middle for a strike. So Canning pulled that out to 3 straight hitters. Nobody adjusted. And it's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Another changeup, chopped up. Easy play for Canning. He flips it to Alonso, and midway through the 6th, it is 4-1 Mets. So a great 6 innings from Griffin Canning, holding the Cardinals to just 1 run on 3 hits. And it'll only be 3 innings for the Mets bullpen to have to handle in this one. So it'll be Alonso, Vientos, and Nimmo for the Mets. We could probably just grab last season's numbers. Yep. Alonso, Vientos, and Nimmo. 3 really solid players for the Mets last season. Outside of Lindor, those are their war leaders. And Jose Iglesias, actually. He was able to match Vientos with 3.1. So we'll see those 3 hitters come up to the plate very soon. And I'll be back very soon. Pallante apparently missed 3 pitches in a row against Alonso. Here's the 3-0. In there for a strike, fastball right down the middle. Alonso is 0 for 2 today with 2 groundouts. Here's the 3-1 from Pallante. Popped foul, 3-2. The 3-2 pitch to Pete Alonso. Slider low in the zone, still 3-2. He fouled it away. Alonso's been good with full count this season. 3-2, fouls it away again. Struck out just 20% of the time in these situations. Walked 32% of the time, and he's 4 for 17 when he puts the ball in play. The 3-2 pitch. Check swing. They say he did go around, and that is strike 3 on Alonso. Alonso has some words for the home plate umpire. Didn't quite look like he went around. Maybe he did. Let's see. I would say he did. If you go by the home plate, but if you go by the angle, I would say he didn't. So, depends what you're using. First pitch, ground ball, Arenado, and there's 2 outs. So 2 outs in the 6th, quickly obtained by Pallante after falling behind 3-0 on Alonso. So Vientos grounds out, and that'll bring up Brandon Nimmo with 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch to Nimmo is upstairs. Ball 1. Second pitch in there for a strike, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Pallante to Nimmo. Curveball dropped in there for what should have been a strike, but he calls it a ball, 2-1. Top of the zone has not been there for either pitcher today. Just not the way the ump is calling the zone. The 2-1 pitch popped up, out of play, 2-2. It's a really interesting game of baseball because of the weird top of the zone. A lot of would-be strikes being called balls. Pitchers had to throw it lower. Yet it seems like they've still been rather effective outside of Pallante's second inning. The 3-2 pitch to Brandon Nimmo. Hit the other way. It looks like it might... Nope. Easy play for Nootbaar. And we're through 6. 4-1 Mets. It'll be Walker, Gorman, and Pages facing a member of the Mets bullpen. So let's figure out who that will be. Walker's a righty. Pages is a righty. Gorman is a lefty. So you could go either way with this. I expect that they go to a righty here. But you never know. So let's check their depth chart. Diaz is not coming in yet. Stanek is good against lefties. Minter is a lefty. We're only in the 7th, so you could see Stanek to try to get Gorman and the righties. I think that would make a lot of sense. If you don't do that, I would expect that they go to a righty, like Reed Garrett. I also don't know who pitched yesterday, so take that with a grain of salt, but that'll be my prediction. Stanek or Garrett. It will be Reed Garrett. So the Mets going with the right-handed pitcher. Garrett has a 0 ERA and a 1.05 whip in 8 games this season. Jordan Walker at the plate. Cardinals trail by 3 in the top of the 7th. First pitch to Walker. Missed outside with a sweeper, 1-0. Walker does have 2 home runs on the year. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss on a cutter. Outside the zone there. Way outside, but he chased 1-1. Reed Garrett throws 37% cutters, 21% sweepers, and 20% split fingers. The 1-1, another cutter for strike 2. So Walker down in the count now, 1-2. Walker hitting at .444 this season against off-speed pitches, .306 against fastballs. That's assuming he makes contact, of course. The 1-2 pitch. Cutter fouled away. Still 1-2. Oh, great. I got rated by a Mets streamer. That's hilarious. All right, well, here's the 1-2 pitch to Walker. Garrett missed low and away, 2-2. So we got some Mets fans in the chat, some rivals here. Here's the 2-2. Fouled away, still 2-2 on Walker. That's pretty cool, truly. Thank you for the raid. The 2-2 splitter missed low. 3-2 now. I hope you know I'm entirely biased here. Like, I'm calling the game, but if something good happens, I'm calling it from a Cardinals perspective here. But the 3-2 pitch, fly ball, deep center field, but easily playable for Tyrone Taylor, and there's 1 out in the 7th. Yeah, Reed Garrett made a lot of sense for the Mets in that spot. But he will have one tough at-bat, and that's this one against Nolan Gorman. Gorman struck out amongst the most in the majors last season before being sent down. He's 0 for 2 today. Garrett missed outside with a cutter, 1-0. The 1-0. Missed outside again with another cutter. So yeah, what I like to do, I'm hoping people will chat. Like, that's kind of why I've been doing this. I like to just watch the games, root for the Cardinals. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Garrett to Gorman. Ground ball foul, 2-1. So you could watch along and talk about what's going on, or you could just listen to the game if you don't have it on. Either way. Gorman does have 1 home run this season. The 2-1 did not go on a sinker, but the third base ump says he does go around. The umpire crew has been very interesting today. It is 2-2. Garrett gets set and delivers. Missed way low with the splitter. That one he pulled down a little bit. And the count is full on Gorman. I am multi-streaming and I have it set up that the Twitch chat shows up. So should probably switch that to YouTube. Get a lot more comments there as Gorman pulls one foul. Still 3-2. Here's the 3-2. Fouled the other way by Gorman, and it's still 3-2. So, I mean, Gorman obviously known for extra base hits and home runs. He's kind of been like a low average, high home run guy. A lot of strikeouts in the past. We'll see if he can bring up that average this season. Here's the 3-2. Fouled away again, so an excellent at-bat from Gorman. Could have taken that pitch for ball 4. But if it's close, I'll never fault a guy for swinging and staying alive. The 3-2 once again to Gorman. Low and inside, fouled back. Excellent at-bat here from Gorman. If Gorman's able to reach, it would be Pedro Pajes. It'll be Pedro Pajes either way, but that would be a pretty favorable matchup for Garrett, assuming the pitch count doesn't get too crazy. He'll have to face him either way. The 3-2 is ball 4, so a great at-bat from Nolan Gorman, but a walk isn't the worst thing in the world for Garrett. He just gets to face a right-handed catcher here, and then they might go to the bullpen for Victor Scott and Lars Nootbaar with a lefty. Quick discussion from the pitching coach. So while we're at it, we could probably grab some Pedro Pajes stats. Let's see what he's been up to this season. So great in the field, average at the plate. That's about what I expected. The best caught stealing above average, so as good of a Yachty replacement as he can get. And here's the first pitch from Garrett. Low and in with the sinker, 1-0. Pajes is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today. Been about a league average hitter on the year. Second pitch. Fouled the other way, 1-1. So Garrett up to 20 pitches on just his third hitter. 1 walk, 1 out recorded. Has not given up a run yet this season. Playing a very standard alignment against Pajes. Here's the 1-1. Strike 2 with a sinker right at the bottom of the zone. A hittable pitch, but Pajes took it, and he's down in the count, 1-2. Victor Scott waiting on deck. Here's the 1-2. Popped up and back into the seats. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Garrett to Pajes. Ground ball foul, still 1-2. So a couple good at-bats from the Cardinals here. "23 pitches now from Garrett. And Pajes tries to stick around in this one. The 1-2. Low and away with the sinker, 2-2. Garrett gets set and delivers. Hit hard the other way and foul out of play. Let's see if Pajes can deliver for the Cardinals. The 2-2, another foul ball. And it is 3-2. So Pajes has been locked in this at-bat, not wanting to go down, making Garrett throw more pitches. The 27th pitch for Garrett. Upstairs, he did not go, and they say he did. So this umpire crew, very questionable, but it has been both ways, so no further comment there. He probably did go around. It didn't really look like it, but I think when you bring the bat above your waist like that, it's a lot tougher to tell. 2 outs now, runner on first. First pitch to Scott. Cutter in there for a strike. They're leaving Garrett in the game, which I think is interesting. Scott does have a home run this year. They're sticking with the righty-lefty. 29th pitch of the inning for Garrett. Here it is. Hard hit ball. Deep to right center, but playable. And Tyrone Taylor makes another catch. Midway through the 7th, it's 4-1 Mets. So the decision pays off. I thought that was a little bit of a risky decision. Wasn't a great pitch either, but Scott was got a little under it and didn't quite get around on it. So works out for him. Pallante has thrown 95 pitches, so the Cardinals will go to their bullpen. Let's take a look and see. I don't think the broadcast gave us any hints, so let's see if I can predict where the Cardinals will go. So it's a 3-run deficit. And due up. Torrens, Beatty, and Marte. So first, let's take a look at the handedness of those guys. Righty, righty, and lefty. So you could go either way, but probably a righty. I mean, we have Matt Svanson up. I'd either go with him or Fernandez here, based on how guys have been performing. Probably Fernandez. It's not a game that's out of reach yet. They do go to Svanson, so he's up from AAA. He pitched 4 games in AAA for a 1.59 ERA and 5 2/3 innings. First pitch is outside on Marte. I believe Svanson has a good history at the big league level, so I don't mind this at all. Really good 95 sinker right there. I'm going to see if I can find some stats. Check those out between hitters here. Swanson is 6'5". I guess this is his major league debut, so maybe I liked his minor league numbers. I remember seeing some of his numbers and being impressed, so I really like that the Cardinals brought him up. Hopefully they keep him up. Here's the 1-2. Poke the other way. Foul. Still 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Marte, poked the other way once again, still 1-2. Swanson throws an outside sinker, gets chopped to second. Gorman makes the play. 1 out in the 7th. So I like what I'm seeing out of this guy. A 95 mile an hour sinker that can move like that. This guy could be like a very long-term, either a really great bullpen piece or a member of the starting rotation going forward. Here's the first pitch. 96 to Torrens. Upper outside corner there. 96. Strike 1 with a sinker that moves like a lot of good sinkers do. And then he has a sweeper to play off of it. 1-1 on Torrens. That was a sweeper outside. Looks like the type of guy who could attack inside on right-handed hitters very, very effectively. The pitch. Sinker 96, middle, and it's 1-2. The 1-2. Sweeper outside, no chase from Torrens, and it's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch, missed outside, 3-2 now. The 3-2, high fly ball, deep right center, and a catch is made on the warning track by Jordan Walker. So 2 outs now in the 7th for Swanson. He appears to have really good stuff. I would much rather have him at the major league level than Roycroft, at least based on what I've seen. No disrespect to Roycroft, but he already had been sent down, so let's see what Swanson has. The pitch, a little low with the cutter, 1-0. So he has a cutter, sinker, and that sweeper. I do not mind that at all. Seems like the sinker has some of the best movement. The pitch, hard hit ball down the line. It's not a great cutter from Swanson. And it looks like it could be 3 for Beatty. No, he'll stop at 2. Easy stand-up double for him. And there's 1 on in the 7th with 2 outs for Tyrone Taylor. What are they calling? Did they just say that was a foul ball? No. Okay, I don't know what just happened. All right. Oh, they're pinch running for him. Okay. I guess Beatty didn't expect that. They brought in Acuna as a pinch runner. He is on second, so they wanted to get some speed just in case a single happens for Taylor here. That makes a lot of sense. Try to make sure you score that run. But Swanson should be able to just go up and in with the sinker. Missed low and away with the sweeper there, 1-0. Based on what I'm seeing, I would just go sinker up and in every single time if I'm Swanson, because that's an excellent pitch. You can see the arm side run. There's a sinker low and in, 96, strike 1. That's another tough place to hit it. I wouldn't mind low and in either. But up and in is just jammed, like you're going to jam the hitter every single time. The 1-1. Sinker low and away, perfectly placed pitch, 1-2. Looked like it was going to be outside the zone. He found the zone with that one. The 1-2 pitch now. Sweeper away, fouled away, 1-2. Yeah, I would just stay away from the sweeper until, unless you're putting it in the dirt. I would play that off of my sinker, and the sinker should be the primary pitch. That sinker is big league. No doubt about it. Here's the 1-2. Sweeper in the dirt, away. I don't mind that at all. You could throw that same pitch, like same tunnel there, and just tunnel the sinker off of it. Catch Taylor looking, and then you go to the dugout. The 2-2 pitch from Swanson to Taylor. Inside sinker, caught by Arenado at third. Taylor did get around on that, though, so maybe I'm not correct about the inside sinker strategy. But Arenado made a great defensive play, and through 7, it is 4-1 Mets. It will be Nootbaar, Contreras, and Donovan at the top of the Cardinals order in the 8th. So the chance to come back is now. Top of the order coming up to hit. I do appreciate Metropolitans for the raid, although it didn't last forever. Just going to say that in this video, in case anyone ever comes back to look at it. So it is lefty, righty, lefty for the Cardinals this inning, and you could pinch hit a lefty if a righty pitcher comes in, so you really do expect this to be a left-handed reliever here, which will be good for Contreras, and Nootbaar and Donovan are good lefty-lefty, so could play into their own hands here. So Minter, maybe? I mean, definitely Minter, right? You definitely expect to see Minter. If it's not Minter, it would be Danny Young or a righty. And if they go with a right, Stanek would be great here. If they're smart, they go Stanek. They wouldn't mind Minter either. But I think Stanek would be really smart. It is Minter. Okay. I feel like Minter's a guy Nootbaar could drive the ball against. If he misses a little bit outside, a little out over. But he is a very good pitcher. Here's the first pitch to Nootbaar. Ground ball right into Minter's chest. He fields it, and that's out number 1. So a hittable cutter from Minter, but Nootbaar hit it right into his chest. 1 out now in the 8th. Minter did throw 15 pitches yesterday. He has a 2.45 ERA, 0.82 whip in 7 innings pitched. So very solid season from Minter. I believe that's just 1 earned run. First pitch here from Minter to Contreras. Fastball away, 1-0. So, platoon advantage for Contreras. He did walk back in the first. The 1-0. Outside, 2-0 now. So we'll see if A.J. Minter, known for his Texas A&M video, can find the zone. The 2-0 pitch now from Minter. High fly ball, deep center field, but Tyrone Taylor is there once again for out number 2. So the Cardinals continue to hit the ball into the air, get under things just a little bit against the Mets, which is evidence of a good spin rate across the Mets organization. And have not yet hit one over the wall today. So lefty-lefty, Minter to Donovan now in the 8th with 2 outs and nobody on. 4-1 lead for the Mets. First pitch in there for a strike, up in the zone on Donovan. The 0-1 pitch. Hit the other way, foul, 0-2. So Minter's been absolutely excellent in this inning. Nothing but strikes, just pounding the zone. 6 pitches, already got 2 outs and 2 strikes on Donovan. The 0-2 pitch. They go upstairs with the fastball, and Donovan fouls it off. Donovan still hitting .242 this season with 2 strikes. Only a 29.7% strikeout rate, even with 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch from Minter. Low and away with the cutter, 1-2. When you're facing Donovan, getting 2 strikes is just the beginning of the at-bat, though. Donovan can create a whole second at-bat just with 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. Hit the other way, hard but playable, and a nice sliding grab by Nimmo. Midway through the 8th, it is 4-1 Mets. Cardinals just have 3 hits in the game. Great performance from all of the Mets pitching, including Canning, Garrett, and now Minter. They've been effective on all fronts. You wonder if the Cardinals just stick with Swanson? Probably not. It's the top of the Mets order. Lindor, Soto, Alonso. That's 2 really good lefties. Well, actually, Lindor might be is he a switch hitter? I think he is. So there's no good way to approach this. I mean, Swanson has cutter and sinker. But I think you got the inning you wanted out of him. He already threw 20 pitches. So you probably go Fernandez. Maybe Romero. We haven't seen Romero in a long while. So I expect the Cardinals to probably go Romero. I just don't know if I'm going to agree with it. Because I don't think Romero should be used in any type of close game. Oh, the Cardinals go with John King. It's a different lefty. I don't know if I agree with that either, but that 6.75 ERA for King on the season is a little high. I think he's better than that. So I will not mind that decision. Especially when you're down by 3 with just one inning remaining. It means you're going to have to face a guy like Diaz. Here's the first pitch to Lindor. In there for a strike. Lindor is 3 for 3. Nothing but singles today. Created a rundown to score that 4th run for the Mets. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Since that point, the Cardinals' pitching has settled in, but sometimes it's too little too late when you give up 4 runs that early. Here's the 0-2 pitch from King. Ground ball, shortstop, Donovan. 1 away. Good scoop from Contreras at first. And King gets the ball once again. He'll be facing Soto. Juan Soto went from the Yankees to the Mets, straight across town. It would be really, really interesting if he was able to participate in a Subway Series against his former team. Has a grounded into double play, a strikeout and a ground out today. King missed low with the sinker, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch, inside 2-0 on Juan Soto. Soto is 0 for 3. I think I already said that, but hitting .221 this season with a 7.66 OPS, 3 home runs. And it's now a 3-0 count. That's where I was going with that, but I was a little early. All right. So King has missed with 3 straight pitches. So Soto may be able to walk once again, which he's really good at doing. And he does. So 4 straight balls from King. And it'll be Pete Alonso now with Juan Soto on first in the 8th. You don't like to see that. A lefty having to face Alonso after letting Soto reach. King was supposed to throw strikes there. And now he's probably hoping for a double play ball, but you got to stay low if you want one of those. And Alonso goes down and slams one deep to left field, but got under it, and Newt Barr makes the play. 1 out in the 8th. Honestly, that looked like a home run, but people are getting under pitches today. Don't know what it is. Alonso called that pitch perfectly, but just did not line up the bat. So 2 outs now, 1 on for Vientos. He did it a solo home run, which drifted over the right field wall back in the 2nd. Strike 1 with the sinker, 0-1. Same exact pitch he threw to Alonso. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 4-seam that time. 94 up and away. 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Inside that time. 1-2. The 1-2 pitch is low with the changeup. I like the idea, but he just didn't put it close enough. A little bit non-competitive with that one. 2-2 now with 2 outs in the 8th. Vientos, who had a good year last year, at the plate. The 2-2 pitch, ground ball chopped off the glove of King. Barehanded play from Gorman, and he gets the out at first. So Gorman's been excellent on defense all day. But the Cardinals still need to score 3 runs to get back and tie this one, or it'll be over. It'll be Arenado, Burles, and Walker in the 9th to face the closer. But everybody knows. Edwin Diaz. Timmy Trumpet will be on in the stadium. They'll be doing a big hype intro for him. He's 31 years old. Drafted by Seattle. I mean, we could look at Edwin Diaz. I don't think it'll be anything shocking. I guess this season it hasn't been great. 6 2/3, only has 3 saves on 7 appearances. He is 1-0 with a 6.75 ERA. The extension is great. The whiff percentage is great. Fastball velocity is very good. Does walk a lot of players. Gives up a lot of hard hit balls this year. Let's see what he did in 2024. Okay, there you go. Amongst the best in the league. On all counts. I thought he missed a lot of time. I guess he missed the 2023 season after the World Baseball Classic. And he was the best in the league at a lot of these stats back in 2022. So you can expect a very, very good pitcher. As you already knew. Here comes Arenado facing Diaz. Up and away with the four seam, 1-0. Arenado is 1 for 5 in his career against Edwin Diaz. The 1-0 pitch is up and away, 2-0 now. Two-0 pitch right down the middle with the slider, 2-1. Two-one pitch outside with the four seam, 3-1 on Arenado. In this situation, if you're Arenado, you're just trying to reach base, so you don't have to mess around. Choose one pitch here. I would choose that slider. If he doesn't throw it, just take the pitch. 3-1. Goes inside for ball 4 with the fastball. And Arenado reaches on a walk. So there's 1 on now in the 9th. And Alec Burleson will step up to the plate. I got distracted by this Griffin Canning montage. First pitch to Burleson, in there for a strike, right on the outside corner. 0-1 there. Burleson just trying to get on. Here's the 0-1. Way up and away. 1-1. If Diaz is having trouble commanding his pitches, let him make the mistake. Just try to stay alive. Choose one pitch. Make him throw you that. The 1-1. Slider below the zone. 2-1. So Burleson ahead in the count. Here in the 9th. Just trying to reach first base. Pass the torch. Here we go. The 2-1 pitch. Strike 2 with the slider up and in. Sorry, up and away. Looked like a ball to Burleson, but it came right back down in there for a strike. So here is the 2-2 now from Diaz to Burleson in the 9th. Fastball up and away, popped up. And just out of reach of Vientos, who slammed into the sidewall. Looks like he's okay. Still 2-2 on Burleson. Ended up hitting the camera. Don't know if I've seen that. So the camera shot showed Vientos' glove, the 2-2. In there for strike 3 with the four seam. So Burleson goes down looking. I don't hate it, but on that pitch, you really do need to swing. But I get the thought process there. He probably thought that was off speed. And then by the time he would have decided to go get it, it was too late, strike 3. So here comes Walker. He also now just has the goal of getting on base with Nolan Gorman on deck. First pitch, slider is a strike at the bottom of the zone. It was low, but got the call. Walker is 0 for 3 with a foul out, strikeout, and fly out. If the umps aren't going to help you out, sometimes you do need to swing, but can't swing at that. Here's the 0-1. Up and in, he did swing. Fouled it back, 0-2. So now Walker is in a terrible position. I really don't know what the Cardinals can do from here. If Walker can't get on base, you really do need him to reach base here. Here's the 0-2. We have a timeout by Walker. So that'll mess up Diaz a little bit, probably. I'm not expecting Diaz to go straight back into the zone on the 0-2 pitch, but protect if he does. Got to be able to reach somehow. The 0-2. Slider low and away, 1-2. If I were to advise Walker here, it would just be try to stay alive and try to like find open grass. Just get on base. You don't need your hardest swing. Here's the 1-2. Chopped foul, stays alive. Still 1-2. Because so far Diaz hasn't really thrown anything that Walker could hit. And he has open space on the right field side, so if you can drive one the other way, I would do that. 2-2 pitch is a slider. Got him swinging on the lower outside. Well, he was outside the zone. Moving from the lower outside corner. And Walker goes down on strikes. So that'll bring up Nolan Gorman, but a home run here can't tie it. So I don't like this, to be honest. Here's the pitch. Low and in, 1-0. Same thing. If you're Gorman, a base runner is worth the same thing as a home run here. So just get on base. The 1-0 pitch to Gorman. Fastball, pulled. Easy play at first. Alonso steps on the bag, and the Mets win game 1. So the Cardinals fall back below 500. Down to 9-10 on the year. And lose the first in New York. Let's see who's pitching tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have Michaelis against David Peterson. So Mets probably heavy favorites in that one. But we will have to see because Michaelis can have a great game. Just got to keep the ball on the ground. That's it from New York tonight. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys next time.